Hello, good afternoon. Welcome back to my video lecture number 5. There are only 18 students. Hope others will join as quickly as possible. Am I audible? Any one of you do respond, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, let us start. It's already late. Time is running up. I think your batteries weights are also going to be discharged. Okay, fine. 1 second. Let me share my screen. So we shall start second unit in today's lecture. For the last 4 lectures, we have been successfully finished unit 1. Okay. Age of biomedical engineering, development of biomedical engineering, biomedical tools, and man instrumentation system, followed by sources of bioelectric potentials. Okay. And the most significant bioelectric potentials and other bioelectric potentials. So these are the major contents that have been covered in unit 1. Okay, so as usual, let us start with today's quote. Effective people are not problem minded, they are opportunity minded. They feed opportunities and starve problems. Okay, so be an opportunity minded people, not be problem minded. Once you are an opportunity minded people, you and I will be able to starve the problems, kill the problems, solve the problems. Okay, so let us all be an opportunity minded people and think positive even in a negative situation, negative times, tough times. So recap, full form recapitulate, which means it is the summary of previous lecture. So when we look into the summary of previous lecture, we have discussed the bioelectric potentials, most significant bioelectric potentials, such as ECG, EEG, and EMG. The bioelectric potential generated from the heart muscles is ECG. The bioelectric potentials generated from the neuronal activity of the brain is nothing but EEG, electroencephalogram. Whereas the bioelectric potential that is generated from the muscular activity, muscles, is electromyogram. In addition, we have seen 3 more bioelectric potentials such as ERG, EOG, and EGG, electroretinogram, electrooculogram, and electrogastrogram, followed by physiological systems of the body. Okay, so human body is composed of many physiological systems which are analogous to engineering systems such as hydraulic system, pneumatic system, etc. Okay, so out of which we have seen a biochemical system, a nutrient system which supplies nutrients and energy to the human body, nervous system, a communication system, communication network, and the respiratory system, breathing system. Okay, so that was the end of previous class. In fact, unit 1. Okay, so can any one of you respond? Please do respond. What are the different EEG frequency bands? Any one of you do respond. Let me just cross check whether or not you are attentive to the classes. Whether or not you are in a position to respond instantaneously, let me just cross check. Any one of you? So, which implies you are not attentive to the classes, you are just, your mobile is present. That's it, you are making your mobile just connected to the class and you are going somewhere else. Please don't do that. You would miss the content. End of the day, you will not be able to recollect the information. Like how you are facing the same problem in the first semester. Please don't do that, my dear all of you. Please be attentive to the classes. Whatever the content that is being delivered through the presentation, be in touch. Just listen to the lectures and try to interact with the faculty as and when you happen to ask any doubt. Instantaneously, you try to clarify your doubts. Please do that, my dear all. Don't misuse of the online classes. Okay. So EEG frequency bands D tab, DT, AB, delta, theta, alpha, beta. And in addition, another frequency band that is gamma. Gamma falls in the range 30 Hz to 200 Hz. As I said in the previous lecture, there were only 4 frequency bands. So now I said another frequency band, gamma, okay, whose frequency range is from 30 Hz to 200 Hz. Right? So be regular and be attentive to the classes. I repeat once again. Okay, don't miss the classes. Don't misuse of online classes. Okay. So second unit deals with electrodes and the transducers. Okay, both are different, though both the devices seem to be similar in functionality. Purpose is different. Okay, they serve different purposes. Let us see. That is what we shall see in the due lectures. Okay, so in today's lecture, let us have a look into some of the electrodes, electrode theory, and the types of biopotential electrodes. What is the electrode that is used for ECG, EEG, EMG? What types of electrodes are available and their configurations, advantages, disadvantages, all these things. Okay, we shall see in today's lecture. Right? So, biopotentials, bioelectric potentials generated in the body are ionic in nature. They are ionic potentials. They are the potentials that are being generated due to the ionic movement, diffusion of ions, in other words. So, produced by ionic current flow. Okay. Efficient measurement of these ionic potentials requires that they be converted into electronic potentials. Ionic potentials on its form, direct form, cannot be meaningful for further, reading and analysis. It is not the usable format, meaningful format that is used for the further analysis. Therefore, that has to be converted into electronic form. Right? Therefore, there have been developed devices for this purpose called as biopotential electrodes. The devices that convert this ionic potential into electronic potential or electrical potential is nothing but an electrode, biopotential electrode. So before we talk about types of electrodes, let us have a look into electrode theory. Where does actually this ionic uh, potential come from? What is the source? Is the origin? So that is dealt with electrode theory. Okay. The interface of metallic ions in solution with their associated metals results in an electrical potential that is called electrode potential. This potential is a result of, please note this line, please underline this line, all of you. It is a result of difference in diffusion rates of ions, movement of ions, diffusion of ions into and out of the metal. Once a metallic electrode is put into an electrolyte solution, or uh, the the element under measurement, say for example blood is a fluid. Once it is put into a fluid, there would be a diffusion of ions taking place into and out of the metal. So this diffusion causes a generation of some sort of potential called as electrode potential. Ionic current, diffusion rates cause ionic current. Ionic current in turn produces ionic potential. Ionic potential is in turn converted into bioelectric potential by means of the devices called as electrodes. This is the concept involved in the electrode theory and biopotential electrodes. So here you can see how the electrode is in touch with the tissue under measurement. Okay, so this is electrode. Electrode is connected to the tissue under measurement, maybe muscle, maybe nerve, and so on. Okay, in between there are no interfaces, different interfaces to be noticed here. Okay, so electrode is connected to the tissue with the help of electrolyte interface. This is nothing but, so here there is an electrolyte between tissue and the electrode. Electrolyte may be some sort of jelly or a paste, electrode paste or something like. I would like to tell you the purpose of electrolyte in the due discussion. So there is an electrolyte between electrode and the tissue. Therefore, because of this electrolyte, there are two interfaces being existed here. See, metal electrolyte interface, which is the interface between electrode and the electrolyte, and another interface, electrolyte skin interface, which is existed between electrolyte and the skin. Let us say this is skin, tissue, in other words, skin of the tissue. So two interfaces. Okay. So in this context, in this connection, electrolyte plays a vital role, important role. Let us see. So the characteristic of a surface electrode composed of a metal electrode and attached to the surface of the body through an electrode jelly, as I rightly mentioned, are dependent upon the conditions at the metal electrolyte interface, the electrolyte skin interface, and the quality of the electrolyte. Okay. So in order to avoid movement artifacts, as I said, the main purpose of my internet connection is unstable sometimes. So kindly bear with me. So the purpose of electrolyte jelly is to obtain low contact impedance. It is applied in order to reduce the skin contact impedance. Okay, so as soon as the skin contact impedance is reduced, there would be a high amount of signal. There is a possibility of high amount of signal that can be acquired. There won't be much loss of the signal. Okay, so that is the purpose of reducing skin contact impedance, in order to make sure that no loss of signal is possible. Okay, so it is usually employed as an interface between electrode and the surface of the source of the event. Okay, so next slide. Metal electrolyte interface is another interface At the metal electrolyte transition, there is a tendency for each electrode to discharge ions into the solution. For ions in the electrolyte to combine with each electrode, the net result is the creation of charge gradient because of the discharge of ions into the solution. There is a creation of charge gradient. In other words, difference of potentials. Discharge of ions cause difference of potentials at each electrode. Okay, the spatial arrangement of which is called the electrical double layer. That could be seen in the next slide, double layer. As a result, a charge double layer is formed. Discharge of ions, in turn difference of potentials, in turn electrical double layer. So the double layer is known to be present in the region immediately adjacent to the electrode and can be represented in its simplest form. This double layer is interpreted as a voltage source and a capacitance and a resistance. So this the double layer is analogous to a parallel plate capacitor. Sorry, not voltage source and other elements. A parallel plate capacitor. Okay, double layer acts as a parallel plate capacitor. Okay, see here. So this is double layer between metal electrolyte interface, right? So double layer, I think it has been invented by Helmholtz. Therefore, the name Helmholtz double layer. Okay, so this is acting like a dielectric, and these two are acting like a parallel plates. So therefore, the whole thing, whole configuration acts as a parallel plate capacitor. Double layer acts as a parallel plate capacitor. So the same concept is again described here. Therefore, the metal electrolyte interface appears to consist of a voltage source in series with a parallel combination of capacitance and reaction resistance. Okay, so the metallic electrode has its reaction resistance and a double layer acts as a capacitance, and the voltage source, it is producing potential, electrode potential, hence the name voltage source. So therefore, an electrode is analogous to, an electrode is comprised of three elements. It is concluded that every electrode is comprised of three elements: voltage source, capacitor, and resistor. Okay. So, and see here one important terminology. The voltage developed in each electrode is nothing but half cell potential. Please note this point, half cell potential. Okay. So the voltage developed across the electrode due to this phenomena is nothing but half cell potential. It is impossible. So this is the question. However, though the electrode is able to generate the potential, so-called half cell potential, it is impossible to determine absolute electrode potential of a single electrode. In other words, a single electrode does not serve the purpose of measuring the bioelectric potential on its own, alone, on its own or alone. Okay. So, it doesn't serve the purpose. Therefore, it requires another electrode. So therefore, two electrodes are merely required in order to acquire bioelectric potential from the tissues under measurement. Okay, so one electrode is nothing but active electrode. The other electrode is called as reference electrode. These two electrodes will be able to measure the bioelectric potential as a difference of these two bioelectric potentials. Am I clear? Okay. So therefore, all electrode potentials are given as relative values and must be stated in terms of some reference. Okay. And what is this reference electrode? What electrode has to be considered as a reference electrode? So that is standardized by international institutions, organizations. So by international agreement, the normal hydrogen electrode was chosen as the reference standard electrode since its electrode potential is found to be 0 volts. Its electrode potential is found to be 0 volts. However, it is unstable. However, though its potential is found to be 0, it is unstable. So that is the reason why in the later stage, I think silver chloride electrode has been considered as the reference electrode since it is a stable electrode compared to hydrogen electrode. In the early stage, in the beginning stage, hydrogen was found to be the reference. In the later stage, hydrogen electrode has been replaced by the silver electrode in the context of stability, in the question of stability, on the basis of stability. Okay. The values of the capacitance and the resistance depend upon many factors, which include current density, temperature, type, and concentration of the electrolyte. Okay, if the electrolyte is jelly, if the electrolyte is paste, so it depends. So the values of the capacitance and the resistance may alter, okay, based on the density, temperature, concentration of the electrolyte. And of course, the type of the metal. Metal could be sometimes silver, it could be germanium, it could be some other metallic element. Okay. So the difference in half cell potentials exists between two electrodes is called offset potential. The difference in half cell potentials that exists between two electrodes is nothing but offset potential. Offset, what do you mean by offset? Which is not set. Offset means which is not set is an offset potential. అంటే మనం సెట్ చేయకుండానే వచ్చే పొటెన్షియల్ offset potential. Okay, set is off. It means that set is off. That means we do not set anything. Okay, so that is nothing but offset potential. So see here, this is the reference electrode whose electrode potential is 0. So due to this reason, electrode is taken as, hydrogen electrode is taken as reference electrode. Okay. So another source of an electrode potential is the unequal exchange of ions across a membrane that is semi-permeable to a given ion when the membrane separates liquid solutions with different concentrations of that ion. So there is a electrode equation invented by Nernst. Okay, Nernst, an equation relating to the potential across the membrane and the two concentrations of the ion is called as Nernst equation, which is expressed as E is equal to minus RT by NF logarithm of C1 F1 over C2 F2. Okay, called as Nernst equation, where R the gas constant, T absolute temperature, N valency of the ion, F Faraday constant, C1, C2 two concentrations of the ion on the two sides of the membrane, F1, F2 are called as activity coefficients of the ion. Be thorough with the Nernst equation, important equation, all of you. Okay, E is equal to minus RT by NF logarithm of C1 F1 over C2 F2. So that's all about the electrode potential, offset potential, half cell potential, electrode theory, and so on. So now let us turn to biopotential electrodes. Very, very important question from all the examinations, maybe internal or external, maybe GATE, etc. So types of biopotential electrodes. Three basic types can be seen here: microelectrodes, body or skin surface electrodes, needle electrodes. These are the basic configurations or types of electrodes. Let us see the purpose. What are the microelectrodes? What is their purpose? Electrodes used to measure bioelectric potentials near or within a single cell. They are meant for measuring the potentials over a single cell, within the single cell or on the single cell is a microelectrode. Okay, bodies or skin surface electrodes are the electrodes used to measure on body or on the surface. Okay, so these electrodes are meant especially for measuring ECG, EEG, and EMG. Okay, skin surface electrodes. Needle electrodes is the third category, which are used to penetrate the skin in order to uh, take up, in vivo measurements, as I said in the very beginning lecture, in vivo, into the body, measurements in the body, within the living organism. Needle electrodes are very much useful. Okay, something has to be penetrated. The sensor has to be penetrated into the skin. For example, brain measurements and some other kinds of measurements. Okay, needle electrodes are very much useful. So to penetrate the skin to record EEG, so electroencephalogram, the brain measurements from a local region of, for example, if we happen to measure EEG at a particular location within the brain, so needle electrodes are useful. Local region, okay. For example, hospital lobe, parietal lobe, a specific lobe is defined before measurement. Needle electrodes are useful. Or EMG, sometimes EMG for the measurement of EMG potentials also we can make use of needle electrodes to measure a specific group. For example, if you want to measure EMG here or here at a particular location on the muscle, we can make use of needle electrodes. Okay. So this is the equivalent circuit of an electrode, a single electrode. Okay, as we have seen in the previous discussion, voltage source, of course, its internal resistance and parallel connection of capacitance and resistance. So all these elements constitute an electrode as an equivalent circuit of biopotential electrode. Okay. So body electrolytes and electrode, right? So this is the combination of two electrodes. The moment we take up any kind of measurement, this is the configuration, standard configuration required. As I told you, two electrodes are merely required. One is active and another one is, passive electrode or reference electrode. Okay, so therefore the difference of the bioelectric potentials generated by the two electrodes is the final voltage, is the actual bioelectric potential that is being measured from the tissue under measurement. Okay. For example, here body fluids is the measurement of bioelectric potentials of the body fluids. Two electrodes are connected here. The difference of electrode potentials of the two electrodes is taken into consideration as the final voltage, output voltage. So the resistance capacitance represent the impedance of the electrodes. Okay, as we all know, impedance is R plus reactance offered by the capacitance. XC is the impedance. Okay, so here impedance has come into the picture since capacitance is present there. Okay, therefore, the impedance of the electrodes has a fixed values of resistance and capacitance. However, unfortunately, the impedance is not constant because the impedance is frequency dependent because reactance offered by capacitance is 1 by 2 by FC, where it is a function of frequency. Okay, as the frequency changes, reactance offered by capacitance will also change. Therefore, impedance will also, in turn, impedance will also change. It won't be constant. So due to this reason, though impedance is found to be constant in this case, but it is unfortunately, it is not constant. It will vary. Okay. And size and type of electrode are also important in determining the electrode impedance. Size and type of the electrode also affect the electrode impedance. See here, important relation, important conclusion. Large electrodes tend to have lower impedances, whereas smaller electrodes have higher impedances. Okay, the larger the electrodes, higher the size, the lesser is the impedance. The lesser the size, the higher is the impedance. Inversely proportional to one another. Okay, so especially surface electrodes exhibit impedance of 2 to 10 kilo ohm. Okay. For better results in reading or recording, the potentials measured by the electrodes, the input impedance of the amplifier must be several times that of electrodes. Please note this point, all of you. Very, very important line. The input impedance of the amplifier must be chosen in such a way that it is far away. It is far higher than that of the impedance of the electrodes. It must be several times higher than that of the impedance of the electrodes. Okay. So let us understand the microelectrodes, the configuration and the construction advantages, disadvantages. Okay. So the first category of electrodes is the microelectrodes. Microelectrodes are electrodes with the tips. Micro, as the name implies, micro means it would consist of a small tip. Okay, the tip would be kept on the tissue under measurement, a small tip. Okay, it is made up of a small tip. So therefore, to make the penetration easy and for some other purposes, the tip is made of very small and fine. Tips sufficiently small to penetrate a single cell in order to obtain readings from within the cell. Okay, that's the purpose of microelectrodes as described in the previous slide. The tip must be small enough to permit penetration without damaging the cell. So the tip must be made up of, the tip of the microelectrode must be penetrated in a way that there won't be any damage occurred to the cell. There won't be any undue pain or any damage occurred to the cell the moment the tip is penetrated. Okay, that is how construction must be taken. That is how the operation must also be taken. This action is usually complicated by the difficulty of accurately positioning an electrode with respect to a cell. Okay. So generally it is of two types. Microelectrodes are of two types: metal microelectrode, micropipette microelectrode. Okay. Metal microelectrodes are formed by electrolytically etching the tip of a fine tungsten or stainless steel wire to the desired size. Okay, the construction will be seen in the next slide. Right? Electrolytically etching process took place in the construction of metal type of microelectrodes in order to design, in order to construct a small tip, micro tip. Okay, which is made up of tungsten material, fine tungsten material, or sometimes stainless steel is also used in order to make the tip of the microelectrode. Then the wire is coated almost to the tip with an insulating. The whole wire is covered with an insulating material except the small tip. Okay. So some electrolytic processing can also be performed on the tip to lower the impedance. The tip of the impedance of the tip must be lower. Okay. To do so, some kind of electrolytic process can also be performed. It is required in order to make sure that the tip, the impedance of the tip is lower as possible. The metal ion interface takes place where the metal tip contacts the electrolytes either inside or outside the cell. Once a tip is put in touch with the cell or tissue, okay, the metal ion interface may take place inside the cell or sometimes outside the cell. So this is the construction of microelectrode. See here, this is the fine tip, metallic thin film or tip. Okay, and this is covered with a insulation, resin insulation, right? And of course, this is the handle. Okay, and inside it is the glass probe. So there are the different materials used for the construction of microelectrode. Okay, in fact, practically it looks like a small like a needle. Okay, so that is a commercial type of microelectrode which is shown in the figure. In this electrode, a thin film of precious metal is bonded to the outside of a drawn glass microelectrode. The manufacturer, please have a look into the highlighted lines, important lines, red color lines. Advantages: lower impedance than the micropipette. Metal type of microelectrode exhibits lower impedance than the second category, and also infinite shelf life, repeatability, reproducibility in terms of readings. It would produce repeated readings. If you take reading at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, okay, the readings would be repeatable, consistent, in other words, and also reproducibility and easy cleaning and maintenance. Cleaning and maintenance is also very easy. The metal electrolyte interface is between the metal film and the electrolyte of the cell. Electrolyte is an electrolyte jelly. Okay, as we have seen in the electrode theory slide, there is an electrolyte jelly between electrode and the tissue or the cell, in other words. Okay, and because of their small surface area, microelectrodes exhibit impedances up to mega ohms, as it is evident from the previous slide that the smaller is the size of the electrode, the higher is the impedance. Since microelectrodes are having smaller surface area, they would exhibit higher impedances of the order of mega ohm. Okay, actually it is ohm, not ohms. Okay, let it be, no issues. For this reason, amplifiers with extremely high impedances are required, because as we have seen in the previous slide, the important and the necessary and sufficient condition before designing amplifier is that the input impedance of the amplifier is always as several times higher as possible that of input impedance of the electrode. Since the input impedance of the microelectrode is higher here, what about the input impedance of the amplifier? It must be chosen as much higher as possible that of impedance of the microelectrode. Am I clear? Okay. Second category is body or skin surface electrode. So it is used to measure, to take up the measurements on the skin or on the body, especially in the case of ECG, EEG, and EMG potentials. Okay. So electrodes used to obtain bioelectric potentials from the surface of the body are found in many sizes and forms. A type of surface electrode can be used to sense ECG, EAG, or EMG potentials. The larger electrodes are usually associated with ECG. ECG measurements, okay, require larger electrodes because many placements are required, especially for the measurement of ECG. There are 3 types of electrode configurations. Okay, so I would like to tell you the electrode configurations of ECG in the due classes. Okay, so many placements are required. That is the reason why, especially in the case of ECG, larger number of electrodes are usually required. Okay, and the localization Localization is also, of course, may not be important, but the right, the localization, the higher precision or accuracy is the measurement. Okay. So the earliest bioelectric potential measurements in the olden days, before the development of ECG electrodes, what we are using today, what we are enjoying today, the olden days, there were no such a sophisticated electrodes developed. So therefore, those days we were having electrodes for the measurement of ECG called as immersion electrodes. The electrode placement and all would be seen in the next slide. So immersion electrodes were used in the olden days. So simply there were buckets of saline solution into which the subject placed his hands and feet. The hands and feet are immersed into the saline solution, hence the name immersion electrodes. Each hand requires one bucket, each feet requires one bucket. Okay, 2 hands and 2 feet as a whole. Four require 4 buckets. It's a complex system. It was a complex system. Okay. So as might be expected, this type of electrode presented many difficulties, as I mentioned rightly, such as the restricted position of the subject and the danger of electrolyte spillage. Once a hand or the foot is immersed into the saline solution, spillage takes place. Spillage means leakage. Electrolyte leakage would take place, which causes inaccuracy in the measurement. Danger of spillage sometimes causes, infections, some kind of skin diseases. Okay, so these are the reasons. So see here, this is the setup where you can see immersion electrodes. So 1 foot requires 1 bucket, and here 2 hands are put into 2 buckets, and of course right leg was not put. Why? Because right leg is taken as a reference electrode, so that is directly connected to the reference. Therefore, it is not immersed into any saline solution. It does not require bucket. Okay. So that was the setup for the measurement of ECG in olden days. In the later stage, a great improvement had been taken place over the immersion electrodes. For the plate electrodes, immersion electrodes have been replaced by plate electrodes in the year 1917. Plate electrodes were introduced about 1917. Originally, these electrodes were separated from the subject skin by cotton or felt pads soaked in a strong saline solution. Later, a conductive jelly. Earlier, olden days, saline solution acts as a electrolyte. But saline solution has been taken or been replaced by the jelly, electrolyte. Okay, or paste, electrode paste. Okay, electrode paste nowadays replaced soaked pads, saline solution, etc. Okay. So plate electrodes of this type are still in use today. Today we are making use of plate electrodes in one or the other measurements. Okay. So this is the plate electrode you can see here, which looks like a plate. So this plate would be kept directly onto the body or skin. Okay, direct contact. Of course, with a jelly. Okay. So on the skin, a jelly is applied, and on the applied jelly, this electrode would directly be placed on the jelly. Okay, and the electrolyte jelly is put in order to make sure that there is a contact. There is a contact between electrode and the skin. One purpose. Another second purpose is to lower the skin contact impedance. See, my dear all, please note these 2 points. The purpose of jelly is to provide proper contact between the electrode and the tissue or cell or skin of the body. Number two, to lower or reduce the skin contact impedance of the impedance. That's all. Okay. So another fairly old type of, I would be concluding within few minutes. Stay back. Another fairly old type of electrode still in use is the suction cup electrode. Okay, next generation is the suction cup electrode, right? So only difference is between plate electrode and suction cup electrode. We need not have to keep on holding the electrode in the case of suction cup. Once we apply the suction and once we put the electrode, we can leave the electrode. It would be stick onto the skin or body of the electrode. Okay, so instead of plate, suction cup electrode is made up of a rim, okay, which would be in contact with the skin. You can see in the next slide. However, one of the difficulties in using plate electrodes is the possibility of electrode slippage or movement. Plate electrodes will move the moment we take up measurements. As soon as we keep the electrode, the skin, and once we leave the electrode, by the time of measurement, it will sometimes move from here and there. A movement is mere possible in the case of plate electrode. Hence, which in turn causes an artifact called as movement artifact because of the movement of the electrode. There are two types of movement artifacts. One is due to the movement of the subject, the patient. In other words, one is due to the movement of the electrode. Okay, movement artifacts may occur. Okay, so this also occurs with the suction cup electrode. The same is the case with even suction cup electrode. ఇప్పుడు ఒక్కసారి పెట్టిన తర్వాత కాదు, కొంత టైం అయిన తర్వాత ఒకసారి మనం సక్షన్ అప్లై చేసి ఎలక్ట్రోడ్ ప్లేస్ చేసిన తర్వాత కొంత టైం తర్వాత మూవ్ అవుతుంది సక్షన్ కప్ ఎలక్ట్రోడ్. కానీ ప్లేట్ ఎలక్ట్రోడ్ వెంటనే మూవ్ అవడానికి పాసిబిలిటీ. However, రెండు there is a possibility of movement artifact through the plate electrode and the suction cup electrode respectively. Okay. A number of attempts were made to overcome this problem, including the use of adhesive backing and a surface resembling in order to overcome the movement of the electrode. Even in the case of plate electrode or suction cup electrode, a remedy is nutmeg grater. Nutmeg grater is provided, which penetrates the skin to lower the contact impedance and reduce the likelihood of slippage. It provides two benefits. One is it is lowering the skin contact impedance, and also it is reducing the chance of the possibility of slippage or movement. Okay. So nutmeg grater and suction cup electrodes will be seen in the next slide. So this is a suction cup electrode. So it looks like a cup. The contact place looks like a cup. So once we press this bulb, okay, suction takes place through the cup and it would be sticked onto the surface of the body or skin of the body. Okay, and this is the place where the electrode is connected for the measurement. This is the output of this electrode, in other words. So this is a nutmeg grater, which looks like a, మనం ఇంట్లో తురమటానికి ఉంటుంది కదా, ఇంట్లో కొబ్బరి తురమటానికి, కూరగాయలు తురుముకోవడానికి ఉంటుంది కదా, దట్ ఈస్ nutmeg grater. Nutmeg grater, it looks like a cylinder with perforations, metallic cylinder with perforations. Okay, so it would be provided to the skin or the tissue where the measurement is required. Hence, therefore, the electrodes would not undergo slippage problems. Okay. So I think it is 352. So let me conclude with this slide. Floating electrodes and other electrodes we shall see in the upcoming lectures. So this is the last slide. All the preceding electrodes suffer from a common problem. ఇప్పటివరకు మనం చూసిన electrodes అన్ని కూడా preceding electrodes, maybe surface electrode, micro electrode, all these electrodes suffer from a common problem. What is that problem? They are all sensitive to movement artifacts, because they are sensitive. They are very much sensitive to movement. Some to a greater degree than others. It depends on the type and other factors. Even the slightest movement changes the thickness of the thin film of electrolyte between metal and the skin, and thus causes changes in the electrode potential. So movement changes the electrode potential and of course the impedance. In many cases, the potential changes are so severe that they completely block the bioelectric potentials the electrodes attempt to measure. Sometimes this movement may completely block the bioelectric potential. They may produce zero bioelectric potential. They act like a barriers. They don't produce any potential. They block the whole potential completely. So the adhesive tapes and the nutmeg graters reduce this movement artifact. The remedy is, one is to make use of adhesive tapes in order to make sure that there is no movement as it is adhesive. Okay, and nutmeg grater. Okay, so these two things may reduce movement artifact, and also impedance. They reduce the impedance, interface impedance, but neither adhesive tape nor nutmeg grater is satisfactorily insensitive to measurement, though it is concluded that these two things may reduce the movement artifact and interface impedance, but sometimes they are insensitive to movement. They may not be able to ensure the 100% reduction in the movement artifact and reduction in the interface impedance, because they are sometimes insensitive to the movement, right? So other types of surface electrodes followed by needle electrodes we shall cover in the upcoming lecture. Stay safe, all of you. Thank you.